Hello, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Rob. This is Big Rob's Van, and today we are hanging out on a Saturday next to the lake. It's a kind of a windy day, but also a little warm. It's almost 90 degrees. It's gonna be a hot summer here in Oklahoma. We're enjoying the splashing of the waves coming up. And I wanted to address one of the most common questions that I get, which is, what cameras and microphones do you use on your channel? So I thought I would break everything down into 5 different categories. It sounds like a lot, but it's gonna go real fast. The first one is my camera bag, the bag that I carry everything in all the time. Number 2, we're gonna talk about my cameras, plural. Number 3, we'll talk about my microphones. Number 4, we'll talk about those necessary accessories that you have to have, things that I can't live without. And number 5, we'll talk about random bits and bobs that I've picked up along the way. So let's get started. And that first thing that I was going to talk about is my camera bag. I have it right here. This is Caden brand. Now, I only recommend this brand because this is the bag I own. I looked on Amazon for a long time for different camera bags. I asked some other YouTubers what they use, and this is a brand that kept coming back. So, but basically, let me tell you why you need a bag and why I recommend this bag. So first of all, you need a camera bag because it's very easy. Once you start doing a YouTube channel, you're gonna acquire lots of little things, especially as we start talking about GoPro cameras, microphones, all those sorts of things. There's lots of little adapters, there's little chargers, there's little batteries, there's little cords, there's all this stuff that you're gonna need. And there's nothing worse than going out to shoot a video and realizing you don't have a charger, or you're missing a battery, or something isn't where it needs to be. So, do I normally carry this bag around like a backpack? Not really, but I keep it in the van. I have a spot for this bag in the van. There's also a really cool feature that this bag has that I want to show you right now. One of the things this bag has is a USB cord that is built in that routes outside the bag and goes to inside the bag. And what that does, that allows me to charge things inside the bag without removing them. So one of the things I've done is put a USB splitter so I could charge multiple things at a time. I also use this to charge my USB power pack, which I'll get into a little bit, but that's a really cool feature that this bag has. Another thing that I really like about this bag is that it is completely configurable. You can see all the different compartments that I have inside this bag, and if you say, man, those look like they're exactly the right size, that's because I made them exactly the right size. This bag comes with a whole bunch of little dividers of different shapes and sizes. Well, they're all the same shape, but different sizes that have Velcro on the end that stick to the sides of this. So you can make compartments that are the sizes that you need. So I have a compartment that is exactly the right size for my GoPro camera. I have one that's for my lights. I have one for my micro, all my different things. It's exactly the right size. And if you look in the middle, I have this long channel set up, and that's where I keep my tripod. So everything that I have to shoot videos fits in this bag. If I want to shoot a video, all I got to do is grab this bag, and I know I've got everything that I need. So again, this bag is from Caden. Everything that I'll be talking about on this video will be linked. There's Amazon affiliate links, of course, down in the description. If you have questions about anything that I mentioned in this video, send me an email to bigrobsvan@gmail.com, and I will answer those questions. I'm not trying to hawk things or mark things up or sell things that I don't recommend and that I don't use. These are all things that I use on all of my videos. So that's the bag. Now let's take a look at cameras. So now let's talk about cameras. Everything that I film, all of my A-roll and B-roll, and if you're not familiar with that term, A-roll is what you're looking at now. A-roll is me talking to you, and that's the main thing. B-roll would be if I cut to a shot of the van by the lake and fit that in, and so now you're looking at something that's not the primary part of the video. You're looking at B-roll, right? So that's A-roll and that's B-roll. All of my A-roll is shot with a GoPro 11. Now, there are older models of GoPro. There's probably at least 10 based on the number. I don't own or haven't owned any of those, but the GoPro 11 was the newest one that was available when I started making my YouTube videos. So that's what I bought. That's the only GoPro that I've used. That's the only one I can vouch for. It's super simple to use. There's a lot of features that I find that I don't use most of those features. The GoPro is not perfect. I'll tell you a couple things that I've run into. Number one is the GoPro has lots of different video modes that it can record in, and specifically when we're talking about HD video, that's 1920 by 1080. You may not know, may not have heard of that. You may have heard of it known as 1080p. 1080p is considered to be HD. But the next big jump, you'll see some cameras that do 2.5K, and you'll see ones that do 4K. 4K is 4 times the screen area of 1080p. So if you have a 1080p screen, which is the whole screen, and shrink it down to a fourth and multiply that out 4 times, that's 4K video. And this GoPro will shoot in either one of those. The upside of shooting in 4K is that if you do a lot of jump cuts where you jump into someone's face and then jump back out, you can do that without losing quality. Now you can do that a little bit with 1080p, but if you zoom way in on something, you're gonna see a quality difference. So if you shoot in 4K, that gives you a little bit more leeway when it comes to your editing. You can zoom things in, you can crop a shot, you can pan, you can do all those things without losing quality because you have a lot more data and pixels to deal with. The downside of dealing with 4K, ooh, it is windy. The downside of dealing with 4K is it's 4 times as big. The files are at least 4 times as large, and it is going to bog down your computer. It's going to take a lot more hard drive space. My computer can barely play 4K videos, and I have a tough time editing 4K videos. So I personally shoot in 1080p. If you could shoot in higher resolution and that's important to you, then you could definitely do that. Now, like I said, all of my A-roll is shot with a GoPro. Most of my B-roll is shot with my iPhone. I have an iPhone 15. This is a Pro Max, not because, I didn't get it because of the better camera quality, I got it because the screen is bigger and my eyes are not as good as they used to be. I'm becoming old, and so it's much easier for me to see things on the big screen. But I use my iPhone all the time for B-roll. In fact, all the shots that you'll see in this video where I'm showing the lake, if I'm showing the van, things like that, those are all shot with my iPhone. You can start a YouTube channel with an iPhone. If you have an iPhone that shoots in at least 1080p, which any modern one, I think since maybe the 13, 12, I don't know when they started doing that, but if you can shoot in 1080p, you could do a YouTube channel. You probably could do it with less quality, but people do get a little bit picky about quality. If you start uploading videos that look super muddy, or they're super small, or it's difficult to see, anything that you do that makes it easy for someone to click off your video, they'll click off your video. So you want to have the best video quality that you can have. So that's what I use. I use this GoPro and I use this iPhone. Pretty simple. The third thing we're going to talk about is microphones. Now, a lot of people don't think about microphones. You know, everybody worries about getting good video, but there's nothing worse than getting home and having a video that has great picture and you get home and the audio sucks. I sometimes, when I wake up in the van, I shoot these quick little videos on my phone and I don't hook up a microphone, and I always regret it because the audio is always terrible and I have to try to do a lot of editing to get rid of the echo, to get rid, make things louder, make things softer. So having a microphone will really change the quality of your videos. People think about the actual video quality, they don't always think about the microphone. So I have 2 microphones that I use regularly and one that I bought that I don't really use. We're going to talk about that under bits and bobs. The first one that I want to talk about is the DJI wireless mic. Now, this is the mic that changed my life. This changed my videos. I love it so much. It is not cheap. I think it's $2.99 on Amazon. With that, you get 2 transmitters, which are the microphones. You get 1 receiver with a whole bunch of little adapters, and you get a charging case. So all these things fit inside the charging case. So it's kind of like AirPods. You charge the case, and then you put everything, and then the case charges the other things. Now, to hook it up to a GoPro, you do have to have the media mod case, which is another like $89. And once you get into making YouTube videos, you'll find there's a lot of little things that you'll be buying along the way. But you hook up the receiver to the GoPro, and then you get 2 microphones. My microphone, if you can't see it, is right here. There's two different ways to connect it. One is with like an alligator spring-loaded clip, but the other one is on the back, there's a magnet. So I slide it inside my shirt, I put the magnet to hold it in place, and that's it. So really it doesn't show up on videos, and it's completely wireless. I can, of course it's gonna be windy. I'm walking into the wind. But it's Bluetooth. So as far as Bluetooth goes, you're gonna be able to get clear audio. It's not gonna be like an iPhone where when you turn your head, the audio gets quiet, or you turn around the other way and you can't hear the audio at all. Wireless microphones are really, if you're gonna do professional, if you're gonna do good quality filming, especially if you're like me and a person that likes to roam around, walk around, do all those kind of things, wireless mics are the way to go. You gotta remember to charge them. Takes a few minutes to hook everything up, make sure everything's talking, but it's definitely worth it. Now the second microphone that I use is a lavalier mic. I haven't used it too many times on camera, and I had to buy a lot of adapters to get this thing to work. I had some cheap lavalier or lapel mics that weren't good. I ended up buying a really good one. It cost me about $60. Again, everything is gonna be linked down in the description. The cable is not very long. I believe the cable is like about 5 foot long, and so I had to buy a long extension cable, and then I had to buy two adapters. I had to buy one adapter so that I could plug it into the GoPro. I had to buy another adapter so that I could plug it into a USB-C, which is what my iPhone uses. But now I have all the parts that I need. In fact, I bought something on Amazon and it came in this cute little case. I don't even remember what the thing was. I probably threw it away, but I kept the case. And I put all the parts for the lavalier mic all in this one little case. So everything, again, always keep your stuff together. You don't want to be searching for stuff when you're out on site, you're in the van, you just wake up, you're at the lake, whatever you're doing, you want to have all your stuff in one place. So those are the two mics I use. I will show you a third mic that I got. I think a company might have sent this to me, I don't remember. These are wireless mics that have a USB-C connector, and so you can plug it into the bottom of an iPhone, and they work okay, but the quality isn't great. And the problem with it is they sound so different than my other two mics that when I try to edit videos, it's really jarring how different they sound. So I don't really use them, even though, as you can see, I seem to always have them here in my bag. Anyway, the fourth thing I want to talk about are those necessary accessories. These are things that from day one, you're gonna want, you're gonna need, and let's start off with the obvious one, which is a tripod. If you're a person like me that films their videos by themselves, you're gonna get real tired of trying to put your GoPro on the dash of your car, or balance it on a tree limb, or set it on the ground, or whatever you're trying to do. You need to get a tripod. Now, the most common type of tripods, and I've had two of these. If you remember the video where I went to the lake and did magnet fishing, I broke the other one, so I've had to buy a second one. But these are lightweight tripods. The bottom is pretty narrow, and they telescope out. So when you push them all the way in, they can be used as a selfie stick, which is handy if you're walking around shooting videos of yourself talking. I don't do a lot of selfie stick type videos, but I will probably do more in the future. On the top, you have the little bolt, I don't know what you call it, the little screw adapter, whatever size that is, 5/16, 3/16, I don't know, but it's the common adapter. So it will screw onto the bottom of a GoPro mount. It will screw onto the bottom of those spring-loaded phone mounts. And I have multiple of all those in my bag so that no matter where I am, again, I mean, I'm really harping on this, but you want to have the stuff available when it's time to film. You know where to go grab those things. So tripod, definitely got to have. The second thing you really need to have is a USB battery pack, whatever that is. Now, I have half a dozen of these things that I've picked up. The original ones that I got were like 5,000 milliamps, 10,000 milliamps. Then I saw one that was 20,000 milliamps. Then I saw one that was 30 and 40 and 50. So I have like half a dozen of different sizes. The one that's 50,000 milliamps, which is a little overkill, I keep in this bag at all times. And so sometimes I hook this up to that USB cable so that I know that if I plug it in, that thing will be charging. You can even do that and then plug other things into that battery so that they will charge. I would not do that all the time, and you want to make sure that the bag is well ventilated and all that stuff. But the point is, you're going to be charging stuff. You want to make a YouTube video? Welcome to the world of charging, because the microphones need charging, your cameras need charging, the phone needs charging, everything needs charging. If you use lights, if you do any of those kind of things, you're going to need charging, and you're going to need a lot of charging. So if I'm going out for the weekend, I will plug everything in and charge it, so I'm not having to charge it with the batteries that are inside the van, so I'm not wasting the energy on my big battery, things like that. So trying to run through a list here. You got to have the battery pack, you got to have the tripod. I have 2 USB rechargeable lights that are also magnetic on the back, and also have the little adapters that I could screw them into a tripod. In fact, they have adapters on the top and the bottom. So in theory, I could put them on top of my GoPro and then put the microphones on top of that. I don't typically do that. Lights are important. Depending on how professional you want to get is how much you want to spend on lights. There are a lot of YouTubers that have little studios set up in their home that have big giant lights and those reflective screens. I don't do any of that, but there's sometimes when you want to film in the van and the lighting, it's super dark. You want to film something up close or whatever, those things come in handy. They also have all sorts of settings where you can have, you know, kind of a lighter light, or a softer light, or a harsh white light, whatever. And you can mess with those to kind of get different settings, but those things I use all the time. Another thing that I have is a spare battery for my GoPro and a spare battery charger. Again, it's USB rechargeable, but it has to be plugged in. There's no battery built into the charger itself, but that keeps GoPro batteries charged. Now they have regular GoPro batteries, which have a blue logo on them, and then they have the super intense ones or whatever, which are white. I have 2 of the white batteries. They'll give you 45 minutes to an hour of filming, maybe a little bit longer, less if you're doing 4K. So you're going to be changing out batteries. So I charge while I'm filming right now, while I'm filming this video. The other one is set up and charging in case I need to go to a backup battery. You can also charge the GoPro while you're using it. The manual says not to do that with a battery in it. That's what I'm doing right now, so hope it don't blow up. Anyway, again, batteries, charging, all those things must-haves. The last thing I wanted to mention is what I call bits and bobs. These are the little things that you pick up over time, the little adapters, the little stands, all these little things. You're gonna get a lot of those the more that you start making YouTube videos. And one of the things I would maybe warn you about is you don't need to carry all of those things with you at all times. You're gonna build up a lot of things, especially if you have a GoPro. I bought a accessory pack for a GoPro, and it came with, I think, 50 different things. It came with a whole bunch of little GoPro mounts that you could stick to things. It came with one that you could use in the water that will float in case you drop your GoPro. It came with a lot of things. It came with a mount that goes around your neck, so you can mount your GoPro there. They're all super cool things. I don't use them. I carried them around with me for 6 months. I never used any of those things. And so I didn't throw them away. I put them in a drawer at home. I have a little box that says GoPro stuff, and I threw it all in there. But the stuff that you don't need, don't carry that stuff with you all the time. And eventually what you'll do is you'll start paring things down to the list of things, that fit in your one bag, right? That's important, but also the stuff that you use. So not only do I have the tripod, I have a GoPro. I have 2 other GoPro adapters that I use regularly, or mounts, I should say, that I use regularly. One is magnetic. I could stick it to the outside of the van. If you want to get those shots while you're driving down the road, you want to stick it on the outside of a door and point at something, whatever you want to do. The magnetic one, super useful. The other one I have is an alligator clip one. If you are out camping, you're doing something, and like right now, it's super windy. My tripod's not very heavy, and it is susceptible to blowing over. So that little alligator clip mount, I can hook to the door. You can hook it to a branch. You can hook it to things that you wouldn't traditionally think, a place where you could mount a GoPro, and you can do that. So those are things that I have with me. I have additional little GoPro mount things, which, you know, the little adapters for the bottom. I have spare USB-C cables, different charging cables, things like that. Those just go into the bag. Again, not too many. And what I do is I collect little bags over time, and so I keep those little parts in bags, so I kind of know what's where. That keeps it from flying all over the bag, which is nice. And also I know if I go looking for something, I know where to find it. Well, that's basically it. That's everything that I use for my videos. That's my camera, my audio stuff, my video stuff. I'm using the tripod. It's a little, I had to do a lot of extra B-roll footage on this one because I'm using so much of what I use to make my videos on the other side of the screen over here. I hope that helps you. And if you have questions about anything that's in this video, again, shoot me an email. My email address is right here. It is bigrobsvan@gmail.com. I'll answer any question about any of the gear that I have in here. Again, I have other gear that I've bought over time that I don't use. I didn't show that because I don't want you to spend money and waste money on things like I did. I bought things that I ended up not using. So, hey, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, watch my other van videos, and I will catch you guys on the road in Big Rob's van. Later. Stupid. Later, dude. Part of me thinks I'm a teenager. So it's kind of like AirPods. You charge the case and then you put everything, and then the case charges the other things. I'm a real hot rodder out here. If you're watching today's video, I'm gonna assume you're in one of three groups. You've either watched a lot of YouTube videos and decided you wanna start your own channel. You've started your own channel. Hold on. You wanna start your own channel, but you don't know what audio and video equipment you need to start a YouTube channel. It's so windy. Are you seeing me? Yeah. My primary microphone is a set of DJI Rode microphones. No, not Rode. Alligator clips, so you can clip them to things, or they, whoa!